Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome, giving all praise and glory to the most high power, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These words to be praised for everything. Going to some scriptures tonight. Hopefully, it'll be edifying to the body. And all you out there that can make the truth mean something different, hey, humbly say, hey, bring it forth and make it mean something different. Or let us be edified with the word of the Most High. While my shaka was shy. As always, I'm going to start with Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Shama Mashiach Yahushai. Give me thanks to the Most High and the Father by Shama Mashiach Yahushai. So all that we say and do is going to be in the name of the anointed Savior, Mashiach Yahushai. And we'll give thanks to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because these words be praised for everything. All glory and honor. Praise to his holy name while we thank him. So I'm going to go through some scriptures here and hopefully it'll be real edifying to the body. And we welcome everyone to the understanding of the scriptures. We're going to look at Revelation 18. Now, before that, we'll go to Revelation 13. Let's go to 13 first. Revelation 13. And 15. And it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And pretty much, this is the first image of the beast that was created right here. You see? So these are the things that you're looking at, which is Caesar Borgia initially. And in 1 Maccabees 3:48, it says, and laid open the book of the law, which is the Bible, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. This is what happened. You see? And when you look at Wisdom of Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon 14, it's in the spirit, man. Wisdom of Solomon 14, and it tells you, what's that, verse 7? Wisdom of Solomon 14:7 say, blessed is the wood, because the paper is made out of wood. So the wood is the paper whereby righteousness cometh. So the wood whereby righteousness cometh is from the paper, which is made out of wood, that the Bible and the righteousness of the Most High, which is, we know that through Deuteronomy 6:25. Where righteousness come, right? Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power. Our is a personal possessive pronoun showing ownership. as he hath commanded us. And do book of Deuteronomy, and Deuteronomy 1:1 says, these be the words that Moses spake to all Israel on this side of Jordan. So he's speaking to the Israelites, right? So looking at this, it says, Wisdom of Solomon 14, verse 7, for blessed is the wood or the paper that's made from wood, whereby righteousness cometh. So we know righteousness is the commandments of the Most High, and we get the righteousness through understanding the Bible. It says, but that which is made with hands is cursed, as well it, as he that made it. You see that? So that was made by hands is cursed, as well as he that made it. He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, it was called God. And you can't deny this. This is what most people think their God is. Right here. You see? He was called God. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. That they're going to be punished for making this image. They're going to be punished for making this image. For the unrighteous and his unrighteousness are both alike, hated unto the Most High. So, if you don't keep the commandments of the Most High, you don't keep the laws of the Most High, it says you hated by the Most High. For the unrighteous and his unrighteousness, which is not keeping the commandments of the laws of the Most High, are both alike, hateful unto the Most High. Make it mean something different. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, the idols, the main idol of the Gentiles, therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of the Most High, they are become an abomination, and stumbling blocks to the souls of men. This is a big stumbling block right here to our people, I say, because they think this is really a Mashiach Yahushua. And a snare to the feet of the unwise. Say, for the devising of idols, like this big idol, was the beginning of spiritual fornication. You see? And the invention of them, the corruption of life. Until this day. You got to think about this was drawn in 1492, and here it is today, still existing as representing this false image of Hamashiach Yahushua. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of men, they entered into the world, and thereby shall they come surely to an end. It comes to an end. It says, for a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image, See, that's the father right here. That's the father, Rodrigo Borgia, right here, sitting at the head of the table. The father, this is what it says, afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image of his child, who was Caesar Borgia. He made an image of his child, which is Caesar Borgia. This last summer picture. Caesar Borgia right here, right? Soon taken away because he died before his father. Now honor him as a god, you see? Until this day. People say that Caesar Borgia is God. Say he's God. Straight up. That's what they say. Him as a baby, him as an adult. They honor him as a god until this day. I remember I went to West Angeles Church in Los Angeles, and they had two Jesus Christ on the wall, and both of them said God. I asked him, which one are we going to be talking about today? Which that you're going to be talking about, because that's not my power. Which one? They had one what Caesar Borgia looking like, look alike, and they had one that the Jehovah's Witness have drawn as their God. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honored him as a God, which was then a dead man. See, Caesar Borgia died before his father, Pope Alexander the Sixth of Rome, Rodrigo Borgia. And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. Thus, in process of time, an unrighteous custom grown strong was kept as a law. You break the law, that's what I say, put to death. And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings. You hear that? By the commandments of kings, these graven images will have to be worshipped, whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off, like someone that lived away from the place where these images were drawn. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far. They made their own, just like Warner Solomon made um, pretty much this image in the 1930s. You see, and making millions of dollars with it. So they took the counterfeit of his vision from far and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent, as if he were present. Talking about Rodrigo Borgia, Pope Alexander VI of Rome, you see? So that's why it tells in Wisdom Psalm 15:4, it says, for neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us, nor an image spotted with diverse colors, like all these different colors, the painter's fruitless labor, you see? The sight wherein entices fools to lust after it. And so they desire the form of a dead image that have no breath. Both they that make them, they that made them, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and all the other painters, Warner Solomon, they that desire them, you that desire this image, and they that worship them. Let me try my other Salaki, let me try my other conference on. I don't know what this thing is doing. This is tripping. Okay, I think that's it. Salakia. Okay. Wisdom Solomon 15:5. It says, the sight whereof entices fools to lust after it. So you call you a fool, you lust after this. There's only 5 people in this picture. The Borgia family right here. And so they desire the form of a dead image that have no breath. Both they that make them, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Warner Solomon, they that desire them, and everybody that made the counterfeit, from another land, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things, it says, and are worthy to have such things to trust upon. That's why most I say, leaving you, congregation of the dead to believe this, man. There's only 5 people in this picture. Look, this Caesar Borgia right here. That's him right there. That's him right there. That's him right there. That's his father, Rodrigo, right here, right there, right there, right there. His brother right here, brother right there, brother right there, brother right there. That's his mother right here. That's his sister Lucretia sitting right beside him. Come on, man. Y'all gotta wake up, man. There's only 5 people in that pictures. They're called the Borgias. Now let's look how he look. Revelation 1:1. See, the problem is, y'all say, yeah, I know he's not a so-called white man, but you won't put down that image that I just showed you. Where that's at? Show me where they really putting them down. The revelation of a Mashiach Yahushua, Revelation 1:1. The revealing of him, which the Most High gave unto him, right? So here it is in verse 14. This is how he looked. His head and his hairs were white like wool. So he had pure, when John the Revelator seen him about 90 to 96 AD, as you get in this book of Revelation, he's seeing him, and his hair is white, but the texture of it is like wool. Not straight hair, but woolly hair. Fully gray. Verse 15. And his feet, and your feet the same color as your whole body, like unto fine brass is derivative of brown, as if they burn in a furnace. And his voice as the sound of many waters, had a strong voice. He didn't speak weak. Right? So now, make it mean something different. Make it mean something different. Daniel said had a visit of a Mashiach Yahushua in Daniel's 10:5-6. Just basics. I mean, these are the things that the world should know. I mean, I notice people from other countries, they know that a Mashiach, that picture is a lie. They understand that, but we here, that's why I show you what it says concerning here in America. Say Daniel's 10:5-6. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with the fine gold of Uphaz, the best gold. He had a gold like this. All this was gold around his waist. Girdle was the best gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl. So I looked up beryl in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It's a good tool to have, Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Now, I wish brother would really pay attention to this lesson, at least, or maybe you could share it with them, because, brothers have said beryl mean green. His body wasn't green. But I'm looking in beryl, and I have it underlined here, it say brown. I like that. From what we just read from Revelation, we got to make things make sense, y'all. You see that? It says brown. That's what we're gonna go by. That makes sense. He ain't look like no Hulk. He have no green garment on. No. He said his body also was like the beryl, like the brown color. And his face as appearance of lightning. That's why it tells us in Ecclesiastes 8:1. Ecclesiastes 8:1. It tells you who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing. A man's wisdom, which is the proper application of knowledge, maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. You see? So the boldness of his face shall be changed. That's why a lot of people can't really handle us dealing with this truth, because he was bold, and we got to be bold. So now, going back to Daniel 10:6, his body also was like the beryl, like brown. Like I just showed you the definition of beryl, brown. And his face as appearance of lightning, all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding was illuminated from him. And his eyes is a lamp of fire, and his arms and his feet. So your arms and your feet, same color as your whole body, right? Like in color to polished brass, right? So color is in the Bible, but this color polished brass, it looked like it, from what we look at from getting the precept from Revelation, as if it burned in a furnace. And the voice of his words, like the voice of a multitude, had a loud voice. He went out to the sea and talked to people on the shoreline. Understand this. That's why it's very important to know these scriptures, man. Know these precepts. So now, let's I just wanted to get that one out the way and make sure that we bring, and since we're in Daniel 7 and 9, concerning the Most High. What about him? He said, I beheld till the thrones, that powers and authority, were cast down in this world that's everybody's ruling right now. And the Ancient of Days did sit. Who more ancient than the Most High? Nobody. Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. So Most High got nappy hair, pure woolly hair. That's what it's saying. His hair was like the pure wool. His throne, power, and authority was like the fiery flame, and his wheels, that's burning fire. Look, he's fire. Looks like fire from his waist up, fire from his waist down, man. So if he fire, everything around him got to be fire, right? Yeah. So you see, he had hair pure wool, and when you look at the Apostle Philip asked the Mashiach that was a question, and John the 14th 8th verse, it says, Philip said unto him, John the 14th chapter, the 8th verses, Philip said unto him, Mashiach Yahushua. I don't like to use that word Lord because that beat goes back to the Canaanite God, Baal, straight up. Show us the Father, and it suffices us. It'll satisfy us. Mashiach said to him, have I been so long with you? And hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me, hath seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Right? Now, for you, Christian, what you call apologetics, saying that the Most High is the Mashiach Yahushua is the Most High. This is what he said. Believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself. The words that I'm speaking are not my own words, but the Father that dwelleth in me. He doeth the works. See, believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake that the Most High is doing through him. That's what he's saying. Straight up. I mean, ain't get no clearer than that. Can it? Maybe it can. Maybe you can find somewhere where, look what he said in John uh, 10 and 29. My Father, that's the one I was speaking. My Father, which gave them me, is greater than all. He's not talking about himself. He's talking about the Most High. And no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. Believe this. I love it. Tobit 13 and 1. 13 to 2. For he does scourge and have mercy. He leadeth down to hell, damnation, and bringeth up again. Neither is there any that can avoid his hand. You better believe that. That's why, my favorite scripture, one of them, Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hand of the living power, the Most High power, man. You better understand. Fearful thing to fall into the Most High's hand. So, there it is. Let me get one more, because, man, since we're dealing with make this truth mean something different. There'll be a lot of comments. Hopefully. Hopefully. But, people believe how they want to believe and how they've been programmed to think. There's got to be, in a way that, that you're going to break it down. It's going to be different, Look at Matthew 16:13. When the Mashiach came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? So who do men say that I am? Hmm. And they said, some say thou art John the Baptist. So John the Baptist had to have feet like polished brass, as if it burned in the furnace, and hair of wool. Some Elijah. So Elijah had to have feet, as we described them, like polished brass, if it burned in the furnace. Derivative of brown brass that burned in the furnace. And others, Jeremiah. I know Jeremiah 14:2 says, Judah mourners in the gates of their language, they are black unto the ground, if it says in prayer. Or one of the prophets. So the prophets have to be men with feet that look like polished brass if it burned in the furnace. Fine brass if it burned in the furnace. And hair of wool. Have to be, from what we just described. And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art Hamashiach, the Son of the living Most High. Come on. Hamashiach was answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it unto thee. Like flesh and blood have not revealed certain things to we as the Israelites. But my Father, which is in heaven, and I said to you, the Most High is the one that revealed it. Now let's look at see what Revelations. Revelation, go back to Revelation 13. And 15. And he had power. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right. And you could go into, we really can go into, let me turn this off. Wow. People that know I'm in class texting me and stuff. Look at this. Okay, the image of the beast. Okay. Some of y'all might say it's not Esau. Let's look at this. First Maccabees 1. Right? And we could look at the whole chapter is dealing with pretty much, Alexander coming to power, giving his kingdom over to his 4 generals. And the wicked one that came out of the Seleucid dynasty was King Antiochus Epiphanes. So look here what he did. You ain't worship image of the beast. The image is a characteristic, the way they would have you be like they want you to be. You understand this? No matter who it is. And like I say, we're dealing with the truth. Let's just look at how the image of the beast was set up. This is their first kingdom, Edomite kingdom. And First Maccabees 1 and 28. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. Right? The house of Jacob represents the family of Jacob, was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king, wicked king Antiochus Epiphanes, sent his chief collector of tribute, that's taxes, unto the cities of Judah, and to our cities where we are at, the land of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude of men, right? And spake peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit, all was lies. They've been lying. You see, he spoke peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit, all was lies. But when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils, robbed us of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive. Hear that? They took our women and children captive and possessed the cattle. Okay. Now, when you look at verse 41, First Maccabees 1:41, right? Many had to worship the image of the beast. Here it is. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Sound like New World Order to me. And everyone should leave his laws. We the Israelites, because the Most High only gave the laws to us. So the heathen agreed according to the commandments of the king, which is, you know, Psalm 965 says, for all the gods of the nations are idols. But the Most High made the heavens because they worship the sun, the moon, the stars, the comets, you name it. It says, yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. What does it say? Worship. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? Many Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath, made the Sabbath day unholy. Like it is today, continually, every seventh day, people not all in this word. They got everything set up so you do everything besides keeping the laws of the Most High, his holy Sabbath day. For the king has sent letters by messengers into Jerusalem, that's where we were at as the Israelites, and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane, make unholy the Sabbaths and festival days. This is when all this religion, came into be, no different from here to now, because what religion is keeping the moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, if thou could say. Which ones? None. Here it is right here. It was taken away from us. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane, make unholy the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. That's us. We the holy people. Deuteronomy 7:6 says that. But our unholy people unto the Most High. The Most High, chose us to be above all nations of the earth, man. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh, pig. And the Most High said we supposed to touch a dead pig carcass and unclean beasts, you see. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. This is what they're doing and changing us from following the Most High to following them. You don't worship their image. their characteristics, how they want you to be, put them to death. To the end, they might forget the law. You see that? Ain't nothing new under the sun. What's the difference between now and then? Then and now. What are we reading here? Or tell me what religion is keeping the moral laws, the civil laws, the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws. Hmm? Did they just celebrate Feast of Dedication or did they celebrate Memorial Day? Think about it. To the end, they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said he should die. There it is right there. Revelation what? 13, 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. This ain't nothing new. It's already happened. It's just happening over and over and over again. Nothing new under the sun. I'm going right to the point of 2 Maccabees 6 and 6. It said, neither was it lawful, 2 Maccabees 6 and 6, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts like they don't do today. You know, what church really is keeping the Sabbath day correctly? I know they have 7-day Adventists. They say they believe in the Sabbath day, but are they keeping it correctly? Or are they keeping it as a Gentile would try and look at what it is that they're supposed to do and following what it is that I think her name was White set up the 7-day Adventist, right? Was her name White? I believe that was her last name. A woman set that up, you know. But that's what it say. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days. Or ancient feasts. You know, we can ask people to name two of the ancient feasts or the ceremonies that most of us say we're supposed to follow. That's his ceremonial laws. They can't name them. Ask them to name the holidays here in America. I bet they know them. Ellen G. White for water. For water for that bell. It says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. See? It was against the law for us to call ourselves a Jew, an Israelite. That's why when you get to the New Testament, this is the Old Testament that the prophet took out. So by the time you get to the New Testament, understand this. That's why you see to the Jew and to the Greek, the Jew and to the Gentile. Because we were Greek-speaking Jews. You see, we took on the image and the characteristics of the beast right here. Without shadow of doubt. You can't deny this. Or, like I said, make this truth mean something different. It's right here. It says, verse 9 says, and whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles, isn't that the characteristics of the beast? If you ain't doing what he say do, should be put to death. Then might our man have seen the present misery. That's real, bro. And it tells you in Revelation 13 and 16, it says, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, straight up. This is what you're looking at, you know? They, I mean, look how he make you raise your right hand and pledge, you know, an oath to him, away from whatever they determine. You better tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you, dear God. Because they ain't dealing with the power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. That ain't who they talking about. Straight up. You know, they get their power from the Most High. In other words, you know, he's giving it to Satan, and whoever Satan said, you bow down and worship me, all should be dying. He told him, I shall shatter that. straight up. We have to look at that since I made it, you know, an indication of it. Um, and look at how the Jesuit priests came over here and killed many of the indigenous people that was on this land and other Israelites who would not accept his Christianity. Think about that. You know, he used his religions, his movies, magazines, social media, internet, and the TV, all that to give life to the image of the beast and have you follow what it is that he would have you do. That's how you make the image of the beast speak and have you follow that image of the beast. As you see at one time, you were put to death. Now, verse 16, it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. That mark in the right hand, you know, you working to uphold Esau's kingdom, armed forces, politicians, um, police departments, you know, Congress, all the way to just following everything that you set up that's contrary to knowing the laws of the Most High. And you still got to do it. You know, women got to wear pants on jobs, you know, men, you got to go to school, you got to accept everything that's against the Most High's laws, men with men, women with women, you know, it's a natural thing. It's okay to be gay, you know, it's okay for a man come to school and teach a class and he's dressed like a woman or work in the workplace and so forth. These things are contrary to how the Most High made us to be. You know, even in ancient days, you'll see most men had beards. Now you don't have no beard on your face. Taking away everything that the Most High said we're supposed to do is taken away. He set up his own image. You see? And your forehead represents the way you think. Um, you know, his knowledge, his lies, Christianity, all these religions. That's why I call it crisp insanity. Because you're insane to think that you don't have to keep the Most High's laws that he wrote with his finger. Or make this truth mean something different. Tell me that you don't have to keep the Most High's laws what he wrote with his finger, and he can't touch you for not doing what he say do. Ain't nobody saying that. But that's real. If you say you're not under his laws, you're not have to under his commandments, you say you don't have to do what he say do. That's real talk. And that's what you're looking at when you find our people, you know, caught up in this world to the point where they don't know if they're going or coming. That's what I say, confused, in darkness, gross ignorance at that, because the fact of they don't know what it is that's working against them. And the whole thing that's working against us as the children of Israel is the fact that we are not supposed to come back to the Most High. When you say you ain't got to keep his laws, you're saying, I ain't got to do what you say, do. I don't have to say what you're telling me to do, Most High. You tell him that in his face. That's what you're telling man, but you telling the Most High, because especially here, because whenever you hear me speak, I tell you, I'm always start with Colossians 3:17. Whatsoever I do, in word or deed, I'm doing by some of myself the other side, or myself the side, going to the Most High. That's why I'm thanking the Most High by some of myself the other side. And they always say that. This ain't nothing new. They always say we ain't under the law, we under grace. How you think he feel about that? He took the time to make these commandments and write them down. And you say you don't have to do what he say do. But yet still, he got to do what you want him to do. And grace is getting something you don't deserve to get. You don't deserve to get what you asking him for, but yet still, he got to give you what you want because you ain't got to do what he tell you to do. You got to make that make sense to me. It makes no sense at all. But that's our people. That's our people. That's what you're dealing with, you know. Verse 18, verse 13, 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And this number is 603 score and six. That's 666. It's the number of a man, straight up. And that's what we're looking at, you know. And like I said, it's a lot of scriptures I could go into to bring this out whenever one day I bring it out as far as just going through the whole breakdown. But I don't like to really bring out, you know, these mysteries that have been hid in the Most High, and nobody really personally want to know what it's talking about, precept and so forth. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's something that if he wanted everybody to know, then I think it would have been written so everybody would know. So if you care to know, you can ask about it. Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, same shall drink of the wine or the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Straight up. And the smoke of their torment, as they in this fire and brimstone, the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image. You worship the beast and his image, especially this image right here. You worship the beast and his image. You have no rest, day nor night, nor that who worship the beast and his image. Whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. The mark of his name is how you perceive his characteristics and you apply them in your life. You join unto him. That's why people say we separate. They ain't separating these religions because they following what it is that he want them to do. Or tell me, did they honor? Are they honoring the feast of Pentecost? Or they honor Memorial Day? Talk to me. What religion, you know, kept the feast of Pentecost? And that's where y'all go to tell people you gotta be filled with the Holy Ghost. You gotta speak in tongues and, you know, all of that, right? From Acts the 2nd chapter. But you're in error in the way you are reading that, understanding that, and teaching the people. Or make this truth mean something different. Because when I read Acts the 2nd chapter, we just went over this. It was Jews in Acts 2 and 5 that came from all the different parts of the world. And to tell you where they came from 9, verse 9 down. You know, the miracle was that we spoke in the different languages of these Israelites that came from different lands that spoke different languages because we were scattered among all these nations. Not no Gentiles. Come on, man. But this is what you've been taught. It says, he tell you, man, look, somebody else gonna be caught up in lake of fire. It said in Revelation 21 and 8, but the fearful and unbelieving, you that don't have faith, you that's wavering with your faith, and the abominable, you that don't keep the commandments of the Most High, and murderers, You that hate your brother, you that actually murder people unjustly, and whoremongers, those jumping from bed to bed. Man, they say they got a STD out now, man. That's like, you got all kind of strands of STDs and so forth now. These whoremongers causing all this, man. And sorcerers, witches, psychics, palm readers, all of that. And idolaters, those that don't believe in the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone. The same fire and brimstone we just talked about, which is the second death, man. Understand this. It's real. Revelation 20 and 10. And the devil that deceived them, see, a lot of people been lied to, was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. We're talking about that fire and brimstone right here. What a beast and the false prophet. That beast that you follow in this image, the characteristics are right here. Where? In the lake of fire and brimstone. With a beast and the false prophet, all these religious leaders that have lied to the sheep of the Most High, led them astray by telling them they're not under the Most High's laws that he wrote with his finger. Those false prophets are and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever, like he said. Amen. Revelation 13:11. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image. That's going to be thrown in that lake of fire we just read about. And whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here's the patience of the saints who are the Israelites. When you read Psalms 148:14. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of a Mashiach. Yahweh Shai, man. Understand this. Look, Revelation 13:2. And the beast, which I saw, was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. See, I like the way it's coded because if it really said what it really meant, we probably wouldn't have it. We probably wouldn't have this Bible. But it's the last days now, so, you know. And that leopard, represent the Greek Empire. Remember, you might not know, but Alexander the Greek, he wore like a leopard skull cap. Look at Daniel 7:6. That's why I say, if you don't know, like Daniel, from what it's saying, you read it here, it will be hard to understand if you don't know about history. You know what I mean? Like Daniel 7:6, after this I beheld and lo, another like a leper, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. You see? Now, what does that mean? Any of y'all can break that down from just hearing that if you don't know really what the history of what it's really talking about. It will be hard to understand, Like, you look at, it had feet like the bear, that's like the Russians, present day. Russians, they like the symbols of the bear. Mouth like a lion, is speaking loud, proudly, blaspheming, and lying. That's like Great Britain. The dragon in the scripture is the spiritual demon, Satan and the devil, and the serpent And we're gonna look at all of this because it's gonna come around when you're gonna see that, you know, this dragon. And even with here, when it's saying, which had upon the back it four wings of a fowl, the beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it, right? And you look at even with Alexander the Greek, he set his kingdom up when he died, and it tell you that in the first Maccabees, who was four generals. But see, if they took this out of the Bible, so you would never see this if you were in Christian sanity. You don't know nothing about that. You would just be saying, "Oh, that's not canon. That's not legit," because the so-called white man or Protestants, I might say, took it out of the Bible. It goes in between Malachi and Matthew, because you can't go from the Persian Media Empire. That's why I say you don't know history. You can't go from the Persian Media Empire to the Roman Empire when the Greeks took down the Persian and Medes. So how you go from the Persian Mede Empire to the Roman Empire? You can't. But see, they took it out. Here it is right here. Well, look, it tells you after Alexander the Greek, it tells you in First Maccabees, the book of First Maccabees of Maccabees says 1:1. It says, well, let's read verse 1 so you know that's talking about Alexander. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. That's when you get Malachi, the last prophet of the Old Testament. Malachi is in the Persian Mede Empire. That he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So where's that at in the New Testament? Christian sanity people, I'm talking to y'all. Where's this at in the New Testament? You're not going to find it because they took it out. But it's part of the original King James 611 Bible. It's right here. The first over Greece, first over the Greek Empire. Okay? So I'm getting to the point here. It says, verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host, a strong army, and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries or paid them taxes unto him. It says, and after these things he fell sick and received that he should die. This is Alexander the Greek. He ruled from 20 years old to 32 years old. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. That was, he called his servants together to rule his kingdom. Like I said, it was four generals that he set up. And this is what it said. He set his servants up to rule after knowing that he was going to be out of there. So Alexander reigned 12 years, from 20 years old to 32 years old, and then died. And his servants, four generals, I think they were Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucus. Those four generals. It said, and after his death, they all put crowns as powers from authority upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. You hear that? Evils multiplied in the earth when they came into power. There it is. Especially Alexander Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth. He was wicked as ever. That's what we was reading about earlier. So now that's why I said when you look at this, you see that this is what happened with this world and how it's came about to change. As it says, evils are multiplied in the earth. And these things, like I said, if you don't know history, then you read this, you wouldn't even understand what it's talking about. It wouldn't make any sense at all. So from there, we're gonna look at go back to Revelation 13 and 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leper, right? And his feet were as the feet of a bear, like Russians, that's a symbol. Still, and like I say, Alexander the Greek, he wore that leper skull cap, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, spoke proudly and blasphemy against the Most High and the children. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority, right? So now look at Revelation 12. Before we get to Revelation 13, what happened? Revelation 12 and 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. So the dragon is red. The dragon that gave, you know, them their power is red. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, right on the earth. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. So now, when you look at this, the 7 heads represent the 7 bleeding empires, the empires of the Edomite nation. The Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, the Germans, the Russians, the British, right? And the 10 heads represent the 10 horns, or the EEC, the European Economic Community, the European Community, or NATO today. You have Britain, Sweden, Belgium, Norway, Brussels, Denmark, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Switzerland, and France. They all support, who's ever the head at the time that they're the head. Those 7 leading empires that came into power consecutively as such. Now, Revelation 12 and 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads, because the 7 leading empires, the Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, the Germans, the Russians, the British, were the 7 heads that were in control, right? Consecutive orders. They came, America came out of Britain. So now when you look at verse 9, it says, and the great dragon, which is red, was cast out, that old serpent. So the serpent is red, called the devil. So the devil is red, and Satan is red, which deceiveth the whole world. You see, lied to the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. That's why you be talking some fallen angels. No. His angels is, look, his angel is minister. Look, let me show you something. Well, I guess I'll get to that mention. But I guess I can bring it up now. Look, show you got angels. This is angels right here. Go to 2 Corinthians 11, and we start at verse 14. It says, and no marvel, 2 Corinthians 11 and 14, and no marvel, for Satan himself, who is red, is transformed into an angel of light. Right? So he transformed himself into an angel of righteousness. An angel, like he's really keeping the laws of the Most High, and he's not. It says, therefore, it is no great thing, here go his angels, if his ministers or his angels also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. They're going to be thrown in the lake of fire. Not only that, verse 13, for such are false apostles, deceitful workers. Ain't that what we've been talking about? Deceive the whole world, right? Deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Mashiach. But they ain't doing what he did. Did he sin? He broke the laws. Did he say we ain't under the law, but we under grace? No. He kept the laws of the Most High. He was an example. He came on this earth to show us that it could be done. You see? And then not only that, look. Oh, that's right. We can go to Hebrews, there's a lot of y'all, y'all be tripping on angels. Y'all don't even know what angels are, man. Y'all don't have no clue on that, man. Go to Hebrews 13. Show you something. I know I've experienced this. It says in verse 2, it says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers. Strangers. Somebody you don't know. For here, thereby, some have entertained angels unawares. You see that? Angels unaware. It's like men, women, whatever. Angels unaware. Don't forget to entertain strangers, for some have entertained angels unaware. Not even know who they are. You see? So these are the things that, we got to look at, because let me get you something else. Find something else here for you. Because all praise to the Most High. You turn the page, you just take you there, and you know that's the Most High. Come on. Come on, y'all. Y'all better recognize, better see these miracles and identify these miracles by some of myself outside. Look, Second Ezra, the first chapter, and we're going to look at, I'll start at verse 37. And it says, I take to witness the grace, which is getting something you don't deserve, of the people to come. Here we are, whose little ones rejoice in gladness. And though they have not seen me, we have not seen him with bodily eyes, we haven't seen him with bodily eyes, yet in spirit. That's very important, because everybody's not in spirit. Yet in spirit, they believe the things that I say. You see? And now, brother, behold, what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east, under whom I will give for leaders. Hear this? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Hosea, Amos, and Micah, Joel, uh, Habadiah, and Jonah, and Nahum, and Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Most High. See, men, come on, y'all. Better understand. Y'all follow this imaginary world if you want to, man. They ain't really real. I'm telling you that. It's not really real as it should be. So now that we see that the dragon, which is red, and the serpent, which is red, and the devil and Satan are red, and the beast is red, who else is red? Genesis 25:25. Well, we can start about verse 19. Genesis 25. There's too many lies been told, man. I'll say, man, you got to go through this and make it mean something different, because I look at, a lot of our people, they'll listen to what these liars have said, and we'll be reading straight from the scriptures. That's why I'm saying go through these scriptures and make them mean something different. That's what I'm saying. This is the truth of the scriptures. Genesis 25:19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban and the Syrian. Okay. So our foremother Rebekah, her brother was Laban, the Syrian. So Rebekah was a Syrian, and Laban is a Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Most High for his wife, Rebekah, because he was barren. And the Most High was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. She got pregnant. And the children, so that's two children, twins, struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Most High, right? These children battling, fighting in the womb. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 matter of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So whoever's coming out first is going to be a servant to the next baby to come out. Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, it's time to have these babies. Behold, there were twins in her womb, right? Listen. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. See? The first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. So what color is the dragon? It had to be coded in a certain way that, we'd have the Bible during the time that we needed to be able to come back to this truth of the Most High, while Mashiach was shot and who we are. What color is the dragon? What color is the serpent? What color is the beast? They all red. Devil, Satan, all of them was red. The first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. You notice it didn't say anything about Jacob's complexion because he was normal. He had pigment and melanin. This is just the truth, But Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment, very hairy. But his skin complexion was red. They call him Edom, which means red. Now, let's look at Matthew, the 4th chapter. Because remember it said the dragon gave them their power in Revelation, right? But that dragon is who? The devil and Satan also. And the serpent, same spirit, way back in the garden. So let's look. Mark the 4th chapter. Then was the Mashiach led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. That's why I tell you in Ecclesiastes 2:1, when you come to serve the Most High, prepare your soul for temptation. Prepare your spirit for temptation for the devil. See, Mashiach was 30 years old, getting ready to start his mission, tempted of the devil. That's the tempter of the devil, because Most High don't tempt nobody. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. He fasted 40 days, 40 nights, he was hungry. And when the tempter, who was the devil, came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of the Most High, he said, if you be the Most High, even the devil know that Mashiach was the Son of the Most High. But y'all gonna say he the Most High. If thou be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. So that's very important, because if you don't know anything else, you better know that he's quoting from somewhere. And he's quoting from somewhere to rebuke the devil. He said it is written. Where's it written at? Are you religious leaders? Prove that you don't work for Satan, that you ain't dealing with the other side, the left-hand side, and you're working with the Most High and the Mashiach, because you're going to do just what he does. And you're going to teach people what he does. You say you say you made up the word Christian to mean Christ's life, so you have to be able to define where it's written. Is it written in Paul's writing? Is he talking about what Paul said? Y'all believe in Paul more than you do the Most High and the Mashiach, period. It is written. Where's it written at? Paul don't exist. His name's Saul right now when he's speaking. He don't even exist. As far as dealing with a Mashiach and having to suffer for a boss, Shama Mashiach. His name is Saul right now when he's saying this. He was against anybody that called on the name of the anointed Savior, Mashiach. At this time, we reading this, that's what position he was in. Talking about Saul, whose name was changed to Paul. So he said, hey, It is written. Where's it written at, preachers? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. You know, and you still all right with me. I'm just that, I have a problem with all these years, looking at our people being led wrong, and you still gonna hold on to whatever it is you've been programmed to give them. That's off. Go to Deuteronomy. Go to the law. He went to the law. That's where he went. Deuteronomy 8:3. All praise to the Most High. Oh, shama myself, help myself. Most like I be turning these pages. When you turn the page, you right there. That's some man. Come on, y'all better recognize. Y'all better recognize the Most High. You better recognize the little things that He do. That's miraculous. He's gonna do more and more and more for you. But if not, you're gonna be caught up. Deuteronomy 8:3. And He humbled thee. That's the Most High. And suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that He might make thee know that man does not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High does man live. That's what he quoted. Preachers, ministers, pastors, whatever you call yourself, that's what he posted. In Satan's face. It was in his face. Told him, hey, man does not live by bread only, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High does man live. Do you do that? Do y'all do that? No. No. They don't do that. Going back to Matthew 4:5. Then the devil taking them up into the holy city, and set it up on a pinnacle of the temple. Satan way high up on the temple. This is all the spirit, y'all. Right? And said unto him, if thou be the son of the Most High again. How come you ain't saying you be the Most High? How come you not saying that? Because he knew that Messiah is the son of the Most High, not the Most High. Come on, man. That's why I say our people are in gross darkness. It's right there. Even the devil, Satan, know. He said unto him, if thou be the son of the Most High, cast thyself down. For it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. See? So here comes Satan, trying to do what? Bring forth the word. Yep. So where's he going? Where did he go? What did he quote? What did Satan quote from? He quoted from Psalm 91:11. So that's why I say, what's miraculous to me, and it's like it's really apparent that when you bring out spiritual things, I try and look at, a lot of things that will be spiritual, that it's not something that's really, um, what can I say? It's not something that's really looked into. If you're not spiritual, then it's something that is not of interest to you. Now, if I was talking about Esau and kingdom, we got next, blah, 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 carnal stuff that we going to do this, that, the third, whatever, everybody be excited. But when you come down to really looking at this Bible spiritually, it's like I said, first and foremost, they have had our minds away from even the Most High. I see that. I see people that I know of old, and I see people, talk to people, and I talk about the Most High. Now talk about the Most High, and then they talk about something different. Because it gotta be in you. He gotta be in you. It's not a natural thing. You go to devil quoting from what King David wrote in Psalm 91:11. He said, for he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. Told him to defy gravity and jump down, right? Off this high pinnacle of this building. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone, right? So that's where he had to go. He can't go to the law. So now, Mashiach came back and told him in Matthew 4 and 7, since he quoted that to him, he said, Mashiach said to him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Most High thy power, your power. Devil, Satan. He said, it is written, thou shalt not tempt the Most High your power. How many people caught that? Deuteronomy 6:16. You can't test the Most High, man. Deuteronomy 6:16. Most High, you end up in the 6 feet under, testing the Most High like that. Deuteronomy 6:6. Deuteronomy 6:16. Select. Ye shall not tempt or test the Most High your power. That's what he quoted to him as he tempted him in the side. But that's what he told it to. Ye shall not tempt the Most High your power. Straight up. Because he ain't got no power over the Most High. Most High still Satan and the devil's power. Here we go, verse 8 of Matthew, the 4th chapter. Again, the devil taking him up into an exceeding high mountain and show him all the kingdoms of the world. And this is very important for what we read about in Revelation. And the glory of them, even including the kingdoms that's in this earth right now. And said to him, all these things will I give thee. That's why I said the dragon gave him that power. If thou wilt fall down and worship me. Say, all this power will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Right? Ain't that what it was said with the dragon? About the dragon. Oh. And Revelation 13:2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. You see? And I saw of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast, dealing with the so-called white man. You know, remember they was brought down as the Roman Empire, and his deadly wound was healed when he came back in the Renaissance period. You know, all the world wandered after the beast until this day, man. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is like unto them? Who is able to make war with them? So about earth. We see that right now. Just taking kingdoms down. Just taking kingdoms down, down, down. But what did Satan say? What did the devil say? Matthew 4:8. Again, the devil taking him up into an exceeding high mountain and show him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. Show him all the kingdoms of the world, even the kingdoms that we in right now, scattered in right now as the Israelites. And said to him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. And you tell me they got these kingdoms, they ain't fell down and worship the devil? Talk to me. Because they say the dragon was the devil. Can you see it again? They are the same. I mean, Revelation 12:9 tell you. 12:9. And the great dragon, which is red, was cast out, the old serpent that we Read about it in Genesis 3rd chapter, called the devil and Satan. See, that's who's dealing with the Mashiach, right? The devil and Satan. Called the devil and Satan. The great dragons called the devil and Satan. So, I mean, it is what it is. Can't deny that. Can you? Anybody see something different? So now, going back to Matthew 4 and 10, he said, hey, you fall down and worship me, all should be dying. Verse 10, then said Mashiach to him, get thee hence, Satan. You see? You see, I turned from verse 1. Then was the Mashiach led up in the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil, which means deceitful and evil person. And Satan means enemy, adversary, or foe. Verse 10, then said Mashiach to him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Most High, thy power, your power, and him only shalt thou serve, right? So each time that the devil tempted him, he went to the law, preachers, ministers, pastors. He went to the law, the same law that you say that we not under. So therefore, how are you teaching the people how to cast out the devil? Y'all better learn this. Because you know you got a short time coming out with much wrath. It's best that you know rather than not know. These are the examples that we have right here. You know, I mean, Deuteronomy 6:13, Deuteronomy 10 and 20. Deuteronomy 6 and 13. Deuteronomy 6:13. Ye shall not tempt the Most High your power as he tempted him in Masada. But it's just what Mashiach quoted to the devil. Ye shall not tempt the Most High your power. That's what he said to Satan. So how you gonna rebuke the devil if you're not gonna do the same things? You're supposed to be, y'all say y'all Christians, so y'all supposed to be Christ-like. This is what he did. How you gonna do this? And you telling people that they not under the law. He went to the law every single time. I can't bring this out enough. Deuteronomy 10 and 20. Thou shalt fear the Most High thy power. Him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave and swear by his name. Point blank. That's what he quoted. Now, when he did all this, going to the law every single time, then what happened with Satan? That y'all never be able to do since you say you ain't under the law. You can't do this. Verse 11, then the devil leaving him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. You see, the devil had to leave him alone. Going through that law, the same law y'all say we not under. That's why he said, look, next chapter he went over, he said, look, Matthew 5:17, think not, or even think that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. That's the Old Testament, the law and the prophets, where he just went to the law to rebuke the devil. Then he had to leave him alone. Those are solutions. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. And he fulfilled. What do you have to fulfill? You know? I'll tell you that in Acts the 3rd chapter. You fulfill what you have to fulfill. Acts 3:18. But those things which the Most High before has showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that the Mashiach should suffer, he have so fulfilled. Because at this time, he on the right hand side of the Most High. And when you understand the mouth of the prophets, what they would have, and what they did have, I might say, that is written in 1 Peter 1 and 10, of which salvation. Salvation is power, rulership, and authority, y'all. Salvation is power, rulership, and authority. The prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you. The grace, getting something we don't deserve, should come to us. Searching what, or what manner of time, the spirit of a Mashiach. You hear that? The spirit of a Mashiach. You hear that? This the prophets had what? The spirit of a Mashiach. Break that down. How the prophets had a spirit of a Mashiach, which was in them. You see that? If he just came on the earth, came into existence when he came on the earth in Matthew, starting out the New Testament. Come on. Searching what? Just the prophets, or what manner of time the spirit of a Mashiach, which was in them, did signify when it's testified beforehand the sufferings of a Mashiach, you see, and the glory that should follow. That's why you look at um he died, I tell you in Acts 5:29 through 31. Acts 5:29-31. They knew this, man. Then Peter and the other apostles, Peter the head apostle, and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. And who y'all gonna obey? The Most High or men? A lot of y'all go by the precepts of men. Y'all follow what men say. Y'all question us down, but you ain't going to question them post-up preachers are the ones that ain't teaching the truth. You just sit there and quote whatever they say. We ought to obey the Most High rather than men. The Most High of our fathers, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said that's his name forever, memorial to all generations. And Jacob was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebediah, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Those 12 tribes. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. The Most High of our fathers, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, raised up a Mashiach Yahushua, whom you slew and hanged on a tree. Wicked Israel gave him over to the Romans, and the Romans put him to death. The so-called white man killed a Mashiach Yahushua. They hanged him on a tree, as it is written. Him out of Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel. To give repentance to Israel. And repentance is all about changing, y'all. It's all about changing into the truth and operating in the truth every single day. Repentance, no sense in asking for forgiveness, and you still gonna do the same thing. And say, you gotta repent, you gotta change. That's what my say, you gotta be born again. A new man, woman, a new creature. You know, old things are passed away, now all things are become new. That's how you become separate. It says, him at the Most High exalted, verse 31, Acts 5:31. Him at the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. You see that? So it says, the prophets, go back to what the prophets has said. In 1 Peter 1:10. I love that. So it said in verse 11, searching what or what matter of time the spirit of a Mashiach, which was in them, did signify when it testified beforehand the sufferings of a Mashiach and the glory that should follow, you see. So he died for the sins of the 12 tribes. That's why he said in Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, when you look at, he said the glory that should follow, right? So when you look at John 17th chapter and verse 1, it said, these words spake of Mashiach and lifted up his eyes to heaven. He looks on the earth, lifted up his eyes into the sky and said, Father, you know, it's amazing to me how people can say that he is the Father. Why is he on the earth praying to himself? The explanation that I get is crazy, y'all. That's why I call it Christian insanity. Father, he's praying. He left part of himself up there in the sky that is the Father, that called himself the Father, but he can't put part of him out to be the Son on the earth. Man, it's crazy. He's praying to the Most High. Father, the hour is come. Glorify thy Son, your Son. You hear that? He said, glorify your Son. You know? That's what the prophets, they had the spirit of Mashiach, knowing he had to come and suffer for the sins of the 12 tribes of Israel and the glory that should follow, we just said. He's saying, glorify thy Son, that thy Son also may glorify thee, right? Look what he asked him in verse 5. He said, verse 4, he said, I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. So I finished the work, right? So now it's time for him to be executed, to be crucified. And he asked this question before he was crucified. He said, verse 5, and now, oh Father, he's not talking to himself. Make that make sense. That's why I call it Christian insanity, y'all. And now, oh Father, glorify thou me, that me is the Son of the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua, with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee, with you, before the world was. Think about it. He wanted that glory that he had with the Most High before the world was. That's why you got to look at this spiritually, man. Look, man. Let's look what he said. Let's, let's go to St. John 16 and, and 23. He said this while he was on earth to the apostle. He said, and in that day ye shall ask me nothing. He said, I'm not going to say those two words right there, because that's A-M-E-N, A-M-E-N. That's what go back to A-M-E-N, A-M-E-N. Matter of fact, I'm going to cross it out. Bam. Just for a reminder not to say it. Look it up yourself, man. I mean, these are the things that the Spirit is bringing in the last days that, you know, it's everything to have us continue to offend the Most High. And I don't want to offend you. You know, you can take the Most High lightly if you want to. I'm daring you to go to the throne and tell the Most High that you can call him whatever you want to call him, and he got to accept it. That's some bold words sounded, aren't they? So if that means A-M-E-N, I'm not going to say that. And in that day, verse 23 of John the 16th chapter, and in that day ye shall ask me nothing. But see, if you put it there, it will be A-M-E-N, A-M-E-N, I say, who said A-M-E-N. It's very key because, you know, even they real slick, man. And I see brothers read this. I don't want to go on no tangent, but I'm just going to bring this out because I see brothers read this and really overlook the fact of, that's why I say every word of the Most High, you got to read every word. A lot of times when you study, if you study slow instead of fast and reading all fast and everything, that's why you got commas, you got semicolons, you got, you know, quotation marks, you got question marks, you got exclamation points, right? That's why it's written like that. Even if you don't go to the Hebrew or the Greek, you still should be able to understand what it is that's being said. If you rolling in the spirit, look what it say in Revelation 3:14. I just showed you what it said. A-M-E-N, A-M-E-N, I. And it's a Mashiach speaking. This is a Mashiach speaking here because it's all in red, you see? Let me make sure you know, just in case some of y'all don't have the same kind of Bible, you see? It's all in red edition, okay? So, you know, red edition. This is Mashiach speaking. That's why it's in red. But is this him? Revelation 3:14. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things said the A-M-E-N, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the Most High. You hear that? The faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the Most High. Is that A-M-E-N? They got it right there in your face right there. They put it right there. They might have forgot to camouflage it. But it's right there. Is that a Mashiach Yahushua? Yes or no? Why you don't answer? Y'all got all this other stuff to talk and all that stuff, man. Why ain't answering that? Is that him? Hmm? That's him. A-M-E-N. I don't think so. So now, go back to um, where we at? John 16 and 23. It said, in that day, ye shall ask me nothing. I say unto you, I'll skip Verily, Verily. And let me show you why I'm spelling it, because somebody might be new. Exodus 23 and 13, in the law that the Most High wrote with his fingers. Exodus 23 and 13, it says, and in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, be cautious, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. You see? Say, make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Okay? That's why I'm not saying the name of these gods. Just spelling it. Very important, you know. So now going back to John 6:23, it says, and in that day ye shall ask me nothing. But see, they got AMEN, that's very VERILY means AMEN. We just found that out. So like I said, that's why I crossed it out, you know, because you don't really need that. Look what it says. I'm gonna read it without it. It says, and in that day ye shall ask me nothing. I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he shall give it you. That's in the name of the anointed Savior, he shall give it you. But you see, he said, in that day you shall ask me nothing. But if you deal with it like it's written here, just show you how they deceive all the nations. And I gotta bring it because Israel say no champion for Israel, but I just see brothers, elders just say point blank, hey, that must be his name. AMEN. Wow, because it's written there. Come on now. Revelation 18 and 23. The last sentence says, for by thy sorceries, by your sorcery, by your witchcrafts, were all nations deceived. You see? Deceived through their sorceries, their witchcrafts, and so forth. Here it is. It's right there. And in these last days, knowledge is being increased. And who really going to increase with the knowledge that's being increased on the earth, or you going to remain the same? You're going to still be offending the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua when I'm telling you, you know, VERILY and TRULY. Go back to AMEN. You know, ZEUS last name is AMEN. Going all the way back to AMENRA. So without saying AMEN, because that's who you're talking about, you switch from a Mashiach side to him, they put it in there. They had our Bible for years and years and years, hundreds and hundreds of years. What do you think you can do with hundreds and hundreds of years? And you got stool pigeons that's snitches that's saying this what it means, this what it means, this, that, and third, whatever. Of our people, I mean, we ain't got to go far to see that. Look, First Maccabees 1 and 1. First Maccabees 1 and 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. See? Then certain of the people were so forward herein, the Israelites, that they went to the king, this wicked king Antiochus, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. You hear this? This is the orders of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. So all these gyms y'all up in them, y'all following the customs of the heathen. Most High said in Jeremiah 10 and 2, learn not the way of the heathen. Straight up, man. That what you have done, though. Second Maccabees 4:15. It's our people, man. Nobody holler about them. Second Maccabees 4:15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, our forefathers were lacking the glory of the Grecians best of all. Come on. Tell me there ain't no sambos, man. Come on. This is what has happened to us. Going back to St. John 16, just like it is today. They stand up for our people had a worse problem with this cat we have it out there in the street with horns on them. They have a real big problem with that. That's how we've been programmed, man. For real, for real. St. John 16:24. Hereto have ye asked nothing in my name. Ask, and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full. You know? These things have I spoken unto you in Proverbs. But the time cometh when I shall no more speak unto you in Proverbs, but I shall show you plainly of the Father. But I shall show you plainly of the Father. But I shall show you that I is a Mashiach Yahushua. He said, but I shall show you plainly of the Father. At that day ye shall ask in my name, and I say unto you that I will pray the Father for you. You'll ask in my name, and I will pray to the Father for you. That's why I say no man come to the Father but by him. And John 14:6. So I'm going to pray to the Father for you. For the Father himself loveth you because ye have loved me. And I believe that I came out from the Most High. I came forth from the Father and have come into the world. Again, I leave the world and go to the Father. Come on. I leave the world and go to the Father. That's why you're on the right hand side of the Most High. The disciples said unto him, lo, now speaketh thou plainly and speaketh no proverb. Now are we sure that thou knowest all things, and needeth not that any man should ask thee. By this we believe that thou camest forth from the Most High. Amasha say, answered them, do ye now believe? Behold, the hour cometh, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. Come on. He said, these things I have spoken to you, and they did. When they came to get on, they went everywhere they could. And then we fell in 70 AD and was scattered among all these nations. But real for real. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. That's why he said. And we was praying in John 17, after he said all that. That's this prayer that he prayed that we just went over previously. And he asked him in verse 5, he said, and now, O Father, he's praying to the Most High, his Father, our Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. So now, in Acts 1:9, after he died, rose on the third day, walked here for 40 days. Acts 1:9, it said, and when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. See that? A cloud received him out of their sight. And we know that cloud is a chariot of the Most High. For real, for real. So now, a cloud is a chariot. We know that from Psalms 104:3, right? So When you look at go to Second Ezra's 13, the 13th chapter, verse 32. So just because a lot of people say that I like to bring in certain scriptures to prove that the Apocrypha is legit. Second Ezra 13:32. Now you know what it says here in verse 9 of Acts the first chapter. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Listen. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, they look up in the sky, as he went up, he ascended up, right? He going up, they seeing him go up. Behold, two men still by them in white apparel, who are two angels, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? So they look it up in the sky, watch them go up. This same on Mashiach Yahushua, which is taken up, which means ascended up from you into heaven, into the sky, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven, right? Now, when you look at 2 Ezra 13 and 32, like I said, make this truth mean something different. It said, 2 Ezra 13:32, it said, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and a sign shall happen, which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. See that? Whom thou sawest as a man ascending. Because we had lost the Bible. And so Ezra's getting everything. He's getting everything that's necessary from Genesis 1 and 1 and Revelations 22 and 21. I mean, he got it all. He had to get it all. And then some. More so than what, the average person only have 80 books. We as Israelites, I'll say. But the average person only have 66 books. When he was given 204 books, come on. Do your math, man. It's a lot that's been missing that people don't really have, don't even have a clue of, and don't care. Don't really care. So once he ascended, we go to our brother Daniel. He's seen him once he ascended. In Daniel 7:13, it said, I saw in a night vision, that's how the Most High communicate with some of us, through dreams and visions. And behold, one like the Son of Man, that's a Mashiach Yahushua, came with the clouds of heaven, came with the angels of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days. Who's more ancient than the Most High? Nobody. Came to the Ancient of Days. Why you pull the Most High, the Ancient of Days? Oh. Brought him to the Ancient of Days. 23. And they brought him near before him. So the angels, let me show you, I know what I want to do. Psalms. Let me show you the clouds and the angels. Psalm 104 and 3. The clouds brought him to the Ancient of Days, so you understand what it's talking about. Psalm 104 and 3. Who lay up the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, right? Who walketh upon the wings of the wind, right? So the clouds are his chariots. So now you look at the chariots got to be driven by someone. So let's look at Psalms 68 and 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. You see, so the angels are the ones that's operating and driving the chariots. We call them IFOs, where others they call them UFOs and other names. Look at Job 36 and 26. It says, "Behold, the Most High is great, and we know him not. Neither can the number of his years be searched out." Read it again. Job 36:26. "Behold, the Most High is great, and we know him not." And people be saying that. You know the Most High? Say, nope, nope, nope. And we don't know him enough because he's not talked about enough. He's not really gone into enough in the scriptures, man. Behold, the Most High is great, and we know him not. Neither can the number of his years be searched out, okay? That's when we go back to Daniel 7, from all we brought there. Daniel 7 and 13. "I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, Amashak Yahushai, came with the clouds, with the angels of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, brought him to the Most High, and they brought him near before him." Remember the prayer that he had, what he asked for. And it was given him dominion and glory. So he got the glory that he prayed for. It's right there. Give dominion and glory in the kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve and serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. He got next forever and ever and ever, which shall not pass away, in his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Right? That's why when you look at Daniel 7:27, "And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High." We got to find the saints. I called it. I know y'all lazy. Y'all ain't gonna go to look to see where it is. So let's define the saints right here in Psalms 148:14. Psalm 148:14. This defines the saints. "He also exalted the horn with the power of his people." It also defines who his people are too. "The praise of all his saints." Who the saints? "Even of the children of Israel, who we are people near to the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. Praise the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. Praise ye the Most High." So now you see, hey, the saints are the 12 tribes of Israel. "Even of the children of Israel, who we are people near to the Most High." So Daniel 7:27. "And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High." We got next forever and ever and ever. The children of Israel, that remnant, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Ain't that what he told him? Ain't that what was told to him? Ain't that what was told? Hmm? That's what he was told. Daniel 7:14. "And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him." See that? "His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away. In this kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed." Verse 27. Daniel 7:27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Straight up. That's why, I brought this out through the Spirit of the Most High's time. You know, you have these nations still trying to teach us about our book when it tells us clearly. Hear the word of the Most High in Jeremiah 12, and let's start at 14 today. Thus say the Most High against all mine evil neighbors. Hear that? Thus say the Most High against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. And look, go to Deuteronomy 32 and 8. They touched the inheritance Most High had us to inherit. That's the land that the Most High gave us. Deuteronomy 32 and 8, look what he said. When the Most High divided to the nation, he integrated everybody. He said, divided to the nation their inheritance. That's the land that they're going to live in. When he separated the sons of Adam. You see, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So he gave the children of Israel, we the children of Israel, our land. It say, and he gave the other nations their land after he gave us our land. But the Most High portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Again, defining his people as Jacob. His name was changed to Israel, became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. They're touching the Most High's inheritance, the land that he gave us. Look, I'll show you right here. You see right here? At least from what they have. See right here? The land, that's our land right there. They in our land right there. They took our land. That's our land. All the different tribes' lands right here. It's our land. Going back to what he's saying. And you can see when you look at these maps, you can see that you have the other nations' lands. Like, see here? You have like Edom. Let me see if I get it right. This is the land of, you get them, that's Edom, Moab, and Ammon right there. Ammon, Moab, and Edom. Right there, lined up right there. You see? Right there. And you got other people's lands, Syria is up here. Syria is up there, right up there. You see, the Bible is real, man. Going back to Jeremiah 12, 14. Thus said the Most High, against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. That's our land. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. I'll pluck them out of the land and pluck out the house of Judah from among us. Because we scattered among all these nations. And it shall come to pass after that I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them and will bring them again, every man to his heritage, to his land, and every man to his land. You hear that? Every man to his land. That's why Most High said, look, I love this. 2 Samuel 7 and 10. 2 Samuel. Most High said, going to bring us to our land, right? He said, 2 Samuel 7 and 10. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, It's the Most High speaking. You say, moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel and will plant them that they may dwell in a place of their own. Finally, and move no more. That's when you see how the Most High said He's gonna place us in our land, and we ain't gonna move no more. He said, neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. And we know Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, when who is he? I mean, come on. Come on now. Talk to me. He, the wicked, covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, when who is he? He told the 12 apostles they're going to sit on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. That's why I love this. It says, 2 Samuel 7:10, moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel and will plant them. That's the Most High is that I that's going to plant us in a place that He's going to plant us in, that they may dwell in a place of their own and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. That's right. That's why He said, oh, 11. Isaiah 60:21. Isaiah 60:21. Thy people, you already said his people are the Israelites. My people Israel, right? Also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. And we ain't moving no more, he said. The branch of my planting. Stop that from happening. That's the Most High. Say the branch of my planting. The work of my hands. That's the Most High's hands. That I may be glorified. That the Most High may be glorified. See? So now, what you think about that? Hmm? Going back to Jeremiah 12:16. And it shall come to pass, the future, that Jeremiah prophesied about something of the future. If the Gentile nations, will just learn the ways of my people Israel. Just to find out in 2 Samuel 7:10. Just swear by my name. I like the Most High says name right here in Exodus 3:15. I like his name like this. Exodus 3:15. And the Most High said, moreover, to the angel, Mashiach say unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Most High power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob, have sent me unto you. This is my name. The power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, the power of Jacob. This is my name, he said. And this is my memorial unto all generations. So you're going to say that's the Old Testament? Let's see what Amashah Shah said. Matthew 22:31, just so you know what he's talking about. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have you not read? Where are you going to read it at, preachers? That which was spoken unto you by the Most High, saying, I am the power of Abraham, and the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. We just read that in Exodus 3:15. You see? The Most High is not the power of the dead, but of the living. And he ain't the power of the dead state of mind either. Y'all better get it right. Going back to Jeremiah 12:16, it said, hey, and it shall come to pass if they will diligently learn the ways of my people. that swear by my name, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See, that's his name forever, memorial to all generations. And Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, who was Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, each one, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. The Most High liveth. As they taught my people to swear by Baal until this day, man. That's the four-letter Canaanite God, Baal, which means Lord. One day, y'all gonna hear and change. Come on. There it is right there for you. Baal. What does it mean? Lord. Masterhusband. Come on. We don't have to say these words, man. Dang on. God of the Canaanites. And look, that's what we're following, man. That's why the Most High said this. He told us not to learn the ways of these heathens when we go into the land that he gave us. Look what he said. Going to the kingdom. Zechariah, the 14th chapter. And let's read the last verse. It says, yeah, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness. I mean, lawful unto the Most High of hosts, Most High power of army of angels. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them and see if therein. All of that gonna be, all these nations gonna be coming and see the holiness of the Most High, while Mashiach Yahushua, and we, the children of Israel, that remnant that's gonna be redeemed. Yeah, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Most High, power of hosts, power of army of angels. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them and see it therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Most High, power of hosts. That's what I'm telling y'all. I better stop dealing with that Canaanite God. Idol, Lord, man. Baal. That's what we're dealing with. That's why you say ain't gonna be no more Canaanite in the house of the Most High, power of army of angels, man, power of hosts, man. Getting rid of them. Hear what he said? In that day, there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Most High, power of hosts. They ain't gonna be there no more. Finish, finish, finish. That's it. That's all she wrote. No more Canaan. You getting rid of them. You getting rid of some of these days. Some of these days ain't gonna exist. They not gonna be there. They're gonna be finished. Look at this. Go to second Ezra 13. Um, verse 49. Second Ezra 13 and 49. Now, when he destroyeth the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remaineth. Now we know Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. His time is short. And it tells you in verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. The dragon, what we were talking about earlier, the red dragon, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, and the Edomites, they all red, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, right? Which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Mashiach Yahushua. You see? But we know they're going to be like this. 2 Ezra 16 and 71. We start with 70. But there shall be in every place. It shall be in every place. And in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Most High. You see, the devil knows we got a short time coming on much wrath on the wolves that keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of my second shot. Sound like Jacob's trouble to me. But there shall be in every city, every place, and in next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Most High. That's us. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling, robbing, and destroying those that fear the Most High. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. They shall be, then shall be, should be, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold is in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, who you know are Israelites, said the Most High, behold, the days of trouble are at hand. But this condition, I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt. Stop having faith. Don't be afraid. Keep your faith. For the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, said the Most High Power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Say, woe to them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities. Like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. You can't get through because it's all jacked up. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith, man. Let you know, man. Because he said he's going to forgive us our sins, man. We got to be looking at, we got to do it to please him. Can't weigh yourself down with something. You know, you ask for forgiveness, you believe you've been forgiven, and you do better. You change. You know? Going back to 2 Ezra 13 and 32. At the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee, as we hear before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. See that? Mashallah, when we read in Acts 1 and 9 that we've seen him ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land lead the battle. They have one against another. So everybody gonna be fighting. And when they hear his voice, everybody gonna lead a battle that they have one against another, like America's fighting Iran and so forth, and Britain, and Israelis fighting over there in Gaza Strip. They're gonna stop fighting. Russia against Ukraine and so forth. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land lead the battle they have one against another. Come on, look at you tell you in Isaiah, how everybody gonna hear his voice. He said it, Isaiah 47:3, y'all. He said, thy nakedness, your wickedness shall be uncovered, gonna be exposed. Yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance as he come back to judge and make war in righteousness, and will not meet thee as a man. So you come on this angelic power. Can you imagine? His voice gonna be heard all over the world. Huh? That's what it's saying, didn't it? It's telling you. It says, 13:33, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in his own land lead the battle they have one against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come. That's the 12 tribes of Israel, and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. That's why it's real, man. And Zion is that's why I say once we, you know, study as much as we can to learn this Bible is really talking about the precept. Um, look at Isaiah 51:16. And I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundation of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people. See that? So Zion represent not only the land, but we the 12 tribes of Israel, who is the most highest people, who we define clearly in 2 Samuel's, for real, for real. So now let's say in 2 Ezra 13:35 again. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come. The 12 tribes of Israel gonna come, that remnant, and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son, right there in the New Testament, again, Amashak shall rebuke the wicked inventors of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest. That's the fire. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law. You hear that, preachers? He's going to destroy all these nations that are prepared to fight amongst themselves. They stop fighting amongst each other. They're going to fight with themselves. All the nations fighting against the Mashiach Yahushua, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Forces of all these nations going to prepare. They'll fight against Hamashiach Yahushua to maintain their power, rulership, and authority on this earth. But he's going to destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto fire. You see? So when you look at Job, Job 20:4, it says, Job 20:4, it says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? There was actually mount up to the heavens, and his head reached unto the clouds. He all up in the sky with his space stations and got his jets going, airplanes going, helicopters, all that. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Where'd he go? He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yeah, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more. Neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. That's Obadiah 17. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust, as he kill him. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps, poisonous snakes within him. Tell you, man. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast him out of his belly. Got to give it up. He shall suck the poison of asps, poisonous snakes, and the viper's tongue shall slay him. Same poisonous snake that he rolled with, gonna bite him, gonna kill him. Slay him, meaning gonna kill him. He shall not see the rivers and the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he buildeth not. What y'all think about that? Job 18 and 11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. You hear that? Gonna bring him to the king of terrors. Yeah, that's something. Well, we met the king of terrors all our life. That's the truth of Israel. So now that's just judgment, you know. Look at 2 14. And we're gonna look at verse 16. And it reads, for yet greater evils, Ezra in the Persian Media Empire say, for yet greater evils shall than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age. Talking about during the time that we living in now. So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein, right? That's why we went to Maccabees. You see what it said in Maccabees, the first chapter, when the Greeks came into power, verse 9. And after his death, after Alexander the Great death, they all put crowns upon themselves, his 4 generals, so that their sons after them many years, so that the Edomite sons or the generals they had powers from authority right after them, and evils were multiplied in the earth. You see that? That's what he's prophesying to Ezra. Say, hey man, 2 14, 16 say, for yet greater evils shall, excuse me, she said, for yet greater evils shall those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter, later on in the future, like we just read in the Greek Empire. But look how much the world shall be weaker through age. so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. That's why he said, Mashiach said, look, I better understand. That's why we have to get back with the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua. He said, Matthew 24. Well, let's go to verse 12. He says, because iniquity shall abound. Matthew 24 and 12 says, because iniquity, wickedness shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You hear that? Because the wickedness in this world going to be plentiful in this world, the love of many shall wax cold, he said. And you see it. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. What he said in verse 21. But then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be. He said, going to be so much tribulation on this earth like it's never been in the earth. And I'm trying to figure out, I always say, how is it going to be worse than killing everybody but 8 people? Shema and Japheth and Noah and their wives. Come on. He said, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. You see? He said, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. If you ain't shortened the days, say nobody be left on this earth. Nobody be saved. Nobody. He said, nobody be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, he said. They're going to be short. Said verse 25, behold, I have told you before. Look at this. 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 46. It says, then dwelt they, the 9 tribes, until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, they're going to bring them back, into the land. The highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. But those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders. See, now when he destroyeth the multitude of the nations, you hear that? And when he destroyeth the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. We should again. And when he destroyeth them, because they ain't coming after us, right? So, but when he destroyeth the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And then shall he show them great wonders. Then said I, O Most High, that beareth rule, show me this. Wherefore have I seen a man coming up from the midst of the sea? You read about that when you go back to the first parts of 2nd Ezra 13. Then said I, and O Most High, that beareth rule, show me this. Wherefore have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea? Now, this is the Old Testament, something that most Christian sanity people will never know about because they've been programmed to think that this is not legit. But it's talking about a Mashiach Yahushua. You hear it. If you read it, you see it. It says, verse 52, and he said unto me, like as thou canst never seek out, nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon earth see my son or those that be with him, but in the daytime. Because we in the night now. We definitely in the night. That's why he said, look, but in the daytime, look what he said. When he was on the earth. He left darkness with us. Man. Go to St. John, first chapter. He said, verse 4, in him, Mashiach Yahushua was life. That's why I say I'm the way to show you how to follow the truth, which the laws and the commandments of the Most High that will lead to everlasting life. No man come to the Father but by him. That's in St. John 14:6. He said, in him was life. And the light was the light of men. The light is the Proverbs 6:23. The law is light. Now he said, and the light shined up in darkness. Where's he at? He's in the Roman Empire. And the light shined up in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not. That's why he is the day. He is the day. He brought the day when he was here. But when he left, what came? Darkness. You know? Darkness came. Let's see. Hold on. Look at Revelation 22 and 16. I, Mashiach Yahushua, have sent mine angel to testify unto you. And it's always an angel that dealt with us, y'all. I, Mashiach, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. You see, that's why it's saying daytime, because he's bright and he's that morning star. In the morning, what hours in the morning? Hip talk, y'all. Is it nighttime in the morning? No, it's day. That's why it's saying. 2 Corinthians 13 and 52. And he said unto me, like as thou canst neither seek out nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea. You know, you can go but so far in the sea, down in the sea. Even so can no man upon earth see my son or those that be with him, but in the daytime when he come. He said, righteous on this earth. This is the interpretation of the dream, which thou sawest, and whereby thou only art here lightened to know. For thou hast forsaken thine own way, and applied thy diligence unto my law, and sought it. See, that's why Ezra was given this special privilege of bringing the laws and the commandments and the whole Bible back to us. And then some, because he gave him 204 books. We only got 80 as Israelites. Most, I say. And you Christian Sunday people only got 66. Do the math. I know we missing 124 books. Majority of us. Once again, verse 54, for thou hast forsaken thine own way and applied thy diligence unto my law and sought it. That's why I tell you in Romans 12 and 1. But we have to do. People taking his own way. And it's like, you know, a lot of people they want this their world. They're gonna be having fun, dealing with it. Most likely gonna sit on my side, going, you're gonna be going down, man. That's what he said, Matthew 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brother, by the mercies of the Most High. It ain't just mercy, it's mercies. Give you something you don't deserve many of times. Giving us many of things that we didn't deserve many of times, especially you that pray to him and you get an answer to your prayer. And you done told him you ain't got to follow what he say do. You gave him, he done wrote the laws with his finger, and you done gave him your middle finger and tell him you ain't got to do what he say do. Yes, so he got to do whatever you say you supposed to do. You want him to do. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, get you something we don't deserve to get many a time, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. You hear that? What did he say? Second Ezra 13:54. For thou hast forsaken thine own way and applied thy diligence unto my law and sought it. See? Look what it say. I beseech you therefore, Romans 12:1. Brethren, Israelites, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. First thing it says what? Holy. So we define holy, Romans 7:12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. So it's still going back to the same thing that we see in here in 2 Ezra 13:54. But thou hast forsaken thine own way, whatever way you want to go, and applied thy diligence unto my law and sought it. What did he tell us? I beseech you, therefore, brethren, Romans 12:1, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, giving up something, not forsaking your own way. That's a sacrifice. Holy, I mean, keeping the laws of the Most High, just like he just said right here, acceptable unto the Most High. Keeping the laws of the Most High, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. You see? That's just reasonable to the Most High. No big deal. You're supposed to be doing this anyway. And be not conformed to this world. That's forsaking your own way. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, the way you think, that you may prove that which is good. We know what's good. We just read what's good. The laws and the commandments of the Most High is good. Prove that which is good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. How about that? Yeah. How about that? But this ain't for everyone. Micah 7:18. Same for everyone. That's why I look at, who really, really gonna look to be as spiritual as they can. Look at this. Micah 7:18. Who is a power like unto thee, Most High, that pardoneth iniquity, Mashiach Yahushua, and passes by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage. Passes by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage. Not all Israel, not every last Israelite. It said the remnant of his heritage. He retaineth not his anger forever. So he retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He delighteth in mercy. Not getting something we deserve to get. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Oh, yeah. Man, that sounds great. But you see, he said, who is a power like unto thee, O Most High? Passes by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage. Remnant of his heritage. Remnant. Not every last one of us. The remnant of his heritage. He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He delighteth in mercy. We just gotta, like you say, keep the commandments of the Most High, have faith in him, have fear of the Most High, scared, be afraid, be scared of him, and cry unto the Most High. We got a chance to be one of them remnants. But Malachi 2:7 is what the priest is supposed to be doing. So, for the priest's lips should keep knowledge. And knowledge is the gathering of the right information and they should keep the law at his mouth. The law that the Most High wrote with his finger. So he is the messenger of the Most High power of hosts. The real priest, but ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. You know? They saying we ain't under the law. It got down to that. But ye have departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, said the Most High power of hope, Most High power of army of angels. And Levi's was the ones that was giving us the law, the priests. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law. You hear that? So you have been partial in the law, and you have not kept his ways. That's why my Shai told you, preachers, man, y'all better hear what he's saying. I'm just here to warn you. This love, nobody else talking to you, but we Israelites telling you, you got to learn. You got to come and learn from us. Matthew 7, 5, Matthew 5:19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do the commandments, the laws, and teach them, that's the commandments and the laws, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. You hear that? That's clear. So what you gonna do when he come for you? You gonna say, man. That's why he said, Matthew 7:21. Not every one that said unto me, Mashiach, Mashiach, Jesus, Jesus, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. That's Most High said, hey, what's the will of Most High? Let's real quick. 1 John 5:3. 1 John 5:3. The will of the Most High. 1 John 5:3. Well, this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So how you think you're gonna bypass that? So you love him, but you don't have to do what he say do. He got to do whatever you say do. That sounds like a lot of pride to me. No humility in that at all. That's why he said Matthew 7:21. Myself said, "Doubt every one that said unto me, Mashiach, Mashiach, Yahushua, Jesus, Jesus shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Mashiach, Mashiach, Yahushua, Yahushua, Jesus, Jesus, Christ, Christ. Have we not prophesied in thy name?" Listen, this will save their life. They're going to say, "Have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works?" They're going to be saying this to save their life. And then what I profess unto them, I never knew you. I never knew you. I don't know you. Just deep. Because they're going to be doing these things. That's why I said, look. That's why I said, look. In Matthew 24:24, for there shall arise false Mashiachim, false Christs, false Messiahs, and false prophets, and so to show great signs and wonders. Just like they're just saying, saying that in the judgment before Mashiach Yahushua. So great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. To behold, I have told you before. See that? That's why they're going to stand here and say, hey, Matthew 7:22, many will say to me in that day, this is Mashiach Yahushua saying, the judgment come. Mashiach, Yahushua, Jesus Christ, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. They're not standing before him lying. Then people gonna be able to do this. And then what I profess unto them, I never knew you. That's deep right there. They doing those things right down in front of your face, and he gonna tell them in their face and just, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Ooh, that's deep right there. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And he that rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house that's built upon a rock, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house. And it fell, and great was the fall of it. Let me show you. Much outside that rock. First and foremost, spiritually, if you can understand it spiritually, look at 1 Corinthians 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren, Israelites, I would not that ye should be ignorant, not knowing how that all our fathers, our forefathers, were under the cloud and all passed through the sea, right? So, and we're all baptized into Moses in the cloud and the sea, going all the way back to the time we came out of Egyptian captivity. Did all eat the same spiritual meat, was given a spiritual understanding of the laws, such commandments of the Most High in the wilderness, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. But they drank of that spiritual rock, it's that rock that followed them, and that rock was Mashiach. You hear that? That rock was a Mashiach. I heard somebody talking about some angel, some trying to make up some name of some angel. The rock was a Mashiach. That's why I say they don't. He said, look, he tell you, you ain't got to go far. I'll go Psalm 40:7. He tell you, man. That's why I say you better know him. Psalms 40:7. He said, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. I'd like to do thy will, O my power. Yeah, thy law, your law, this is my second side. Your law is within my heart, within my mind. Come on, man. You better understand. You better try and find them everywhere you can. Look, Deuteronomy 32, verse 15. But Zezron waxed fat. That's another name for we, the children of Israel, call it Jezreel. Waxed fat and kicked, like we was kicking it. Fat. Thou art waxing fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. That rock is a Mashiach Yahushua right there. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, strange idols, man. With abomination provoked they him to anger. They sacrificing the devils. That's us, man. Not to the Most High. The gods whom they knew not. The new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. See that? And that's what we did when we read about this lesson in the Greek Empire. We followed the religion of Antiochus Epiphanes. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful. That's why it said you build your house on that rock, it's going to stand. You put your foundation in the Mashiach Yahushua, it's going to stand. But if you build your house on the sand that don't even matter, have no merit, it's gonna fall. And those people gonna fall when they meet the jealousy of the Most High. Say, we did this in our name. Say, the probably your work of iniquity. I never knew you. And when the Most High saw it, he abhorred them. You hear that? He hated us. What you got to say about that? When he saw us, he hated us because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters, our children. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. But they are a very froward generation, children in whom there is no faith. That's why I said they have moved me to jealousy. But that which is not the Most High. You hear that? So we move the Most High with jealousy with that which is not the Most High. That we read about in Maccabees today. Following their traditions until this day. Religion. You can't find no religion that's keeping the Most High's commandments, his laws, moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and learned of the sacrificial laws. Name them. Name one. Name one religion that's keeping the commandments of the Most High, if thou can. You're not going to be able to. That's why I say they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. That's why I say in Ecclesiastes 3:24, man, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion overthrown their judgment. Straight up. They allow the devil to come in, they're deceiving everybody, and y'all go, you've been deceived, now you want to deceive everybody else. And now that you realize you've been deceived, now I can't do that. I can't do that because it'll make me look like a fool. And not knowing, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy. Listen, what you move us to jealousy with. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. That's deep. He moved us to jealousy with those that are not a people. Wow. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. That's real, yo. That's real as real could be. Are y'all ready for that? I don't think so. That's what he said he's going to do. So some people that you think are people are not a people. They're not a people. That's why I said, look, Romans 10. Let's get verse 18. It says, but I say, have they not heard? Have we not heard? Yes, verily. Their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world, where we in right now. Listen, but I say, did not Israel know? Did we know? First Moses said, I will provoke you to jealousy by them that are no people. Didn't we just read that in Deuteronomy 32:21? And we're going to know that is to go back to the law. Because Moses is dealing with the first 5 books of the Bible. So how you going to read this in the churches and you don't go back there to see what it's saying? Now people going to look at the law that you say you ain't got to follow. Oh, that's right. Y'all Gentiles. Y'all grafting in, but don't know who you've been grafting in among. Come on, man. Y'all got to start thinking. We the Israelites, man. We Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. That's what this book is talking about, man. But I say, verse 19, did not Israel know? First Moses said, I will provoke you to jealousy by them that are no people. He considers these people no people. And by a foolish nation will I anger you. Look, but Isaiah is very bold and said, I was found of them that sought me not. I was made manifest unto them that asked not after me. See, we don't know nothing about that. But to Israel, he said, all day long, I have stretched forth my hands unto a disobedient and gainsaying people. That's us. It's sad, but it's real. You know, all day long I have stretched forth his hand unto a disobedient, mean what y'all say. We ain't under the law. We ain't under the law. See here? Let's go. You see what it is? He skipped over. He read out of context. Go up to verse 4. For a Mashiach is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. See there? The law was over. Mashiach was saying, end the law. Yeah, he said, end of the law of sacrifice. That's the law that he's ended. The law of sacrifice for righteousness to everyone that believeth. What's righteousness, if I might ask? You got to find it. Like I said, this is all about make this truth mean something different. What's righteousness? Psalm 119, 172. Psalm 119, 172. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. You see that? So the commandments are righteousness. So Mashiach besides the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. Man. That's why I say, man, we go up from here, brethren. My heart's desire and prayers that the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved. How come he ain't saying everybody? He praying to the Most High that we, the Israelites, might be saved. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. And that's where it all started, because knowledge is the gathering of the right information. That's knowledge. You know, once you have gathered the right information, then you have to apply that right information, which equals wisdom. And once you apply that right information, righteous information that you have gathered, which is knowledge, if you begin to have wisdom, then you learn how to have understanding and you learn how to depart from evil to please the Most High. That's why I say, for they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness, being ignorant of the Most High's laws and commandments, because you're taught you're not under the law. You're not under the commandments. Being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness, ignorant, not knowing of the Most High's laws and commandments, moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and learning of the sacrificial law. But they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness like these religions do, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. They have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. They have not submitted themselves unto the laws and the commandments of the Most High that he wrote with his finger. And for you to not say that you have to do what he say do, you giving him your middle finger. And you know what that means. For Mashiach says the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. You see? That law that he's the end of is the law of sacrifice. We're not sacrificing animals for atonement of our sins. He was the ultimate atonement. He is the atonement for the sins of the 12 tribes of Israel. Point blank. What's he gonna do when he come for you? You meet that judgment seat and you say, "Hey," he said, "Well, hopefully it ain't you that's sitting there saying we cast out devils in our name. We did many wonders in our name." And he say, "Hey, depart from me that work iniquity. I never knew you, because the iniquity is not keeping the Most High's commandments and his laws." You better recognize. Look at 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. I'm just about finished. But I would have you know, excuse me, that I would not have you to be ignorant. So I would not have you to not know. What did you ready to say? Brethren, 12 tribes of Israel, brothers, concerning them which are asleep, those that have died, that you saw not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that a Messiah died and rose again, even so them also which sleep that have died by Shama Messiah, you see Aaron Messiah, Yahushua, that have those that have died, and before they died, they was rolling by Shama Messiah, will the Most High bring with him. And the Messiah gonna bring with him. For this we say unto you, by the word of the Most High, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of Mashiach Yahushua shall not prevent them which are asleep. But the Most High himself and the Mashiach Yahushua himself shall descend from heaven. You see that? It's like he ascended. He gonna descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High. And the dead that have died by Shama Mashiach Yahushua shall rise first. Now let's look at that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 2, 2nd Ezra 2 and 16. In the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra 2 and 16. 2nd Ezra 2:16. And those that be dead will I raise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves, for I have known my name in Israel. Those that have died by Shama Mashiach Yahushua. You see that? Just like it said here. Verse 31. Remember the children that sleep, those that have died. For I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth and show mercy, which is not getting something you do deserve to get. No, not getting something you don't deserve to get. Getting something you don't deserve to get. I'm all confused. I know I'm sounding confused. Time for me to shut down. Mercy is not getting something you do deserve to get. He's not going to give us what we just do deserve to get. Remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth and show mercy unto them. For I am merciful, said the Most High Power. Embrace thy children until I come and show mercy unto them. For my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail. All power, all praise and power to the Most High. So, it's telling us in Isaiah 14 and 1 who that mercy is going to come to. Isaiah 14 and 1. The Most High will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, like we read in 2 Samuel 7 and 10. And the strangers, these other nations shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people, the Israelites, that remnant, shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for service and handmaids, men slaves, women slaves, in a righteous kingdom. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. You see that? Verse 3, and it shall come to pass in the day. You see, that's why he said, in the day. That's the daytime. When the Mashiach shall come back and judge and make war and set up the day. It shall come to pass in the day that Mashiach Yahushua shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, man. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, America, and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Most High have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Broke them down. That's right. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. That's why I say in 1 Thessalonians 4:17, it say, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, in the chariots, to meet a Mashiach Yahushua in the air, and so shall we ever be with a Mashiach Yahushua. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. That's why I say this ain't something just because you learning something that you think you're going to be there. That's why I say, look, Revelations 11 and 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, in a chariot, and their enemies beheld them. In the same hour was there a great earthquake. Once whoever it is that's going up in these chariots, up in the chariots in the sky, this great earthquake gonna hit. Destruction. 1 hour. And then the 10th part of the city fell, and then the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted. You hear that? It's not everyone. Say the remnant were affrighted. They're the ones going to have that mercy. Most are going to have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel. And the remnant were affrighted. And gave glory to the Most High power of heaven. Second one was past, and behold, the third one cometh quick. See? That's what this is all about, y'all. No more, no less. It's real. That remnant. See that? A lot of y'all think every last Israelite gonna be saved. No. That remnant. That's what we just read about, a remnant in them chariots, man. So with that, I'm gonna stop. I think I went over my time. But I appreciate you being with me tonight, and give a like to the video if you can. Appreciate it. And with that, I say, Kwam Most High, and Kwam Mashiach Yahushua, and Kwam Yashrala. And we out. Shalom.